I found out my family's big secret. And now everything feels like a lie. Throwaway account because if my family finds this, I'm dead. I don't even know how to process this. I feel like my entire life has been a lie, and I can't talk to anyone about it. So here I am, screaming into the void of Reddit. For context, my family has always been close. Like, weirdly close. Sunday dinners, group chats that are constantly active, vacations together, just the whole picture perfect thing. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. My parents worked hard, and they always emphasized that family comes first, no matter what. I used to believe that. Until last night. I was at my parents' house for dinner when my dad left his phone on the kitchen counter. It buzzed, and I glanced at the screen. Not to snoop, just out of habit. But what I saw made my stomach drop. It was a text from an unknown number. It just said, "She's asking too many questions. Be careful." I swear to God, I felt my heart stop. Who was she? What questions? And why the hell did it sound like some shady crime drama? I did something I never do. I picked up my dad's phone and scrolled up. I know, invasion of privacy, but something in my gut told me this was big. And I was right. The texts went back years. Conversations about money being moved, about keeping someone quiet, about how they needed to make sure she never found out. The most recent one? If she figures it out, we're all screwed. I felt sick. My brain was racing. Were they in debt? Hiding money? Who was she? I thought maybe it was about my mom, but she was sitting in the next room, laughing with my aunt like nothing was wrong. So if it wasn't her, then was it me? I put the phone down and tried to act normal, but the whole dinner felt surreal. I kept looking at my dad, wondering what the hell he was hiding. After I left, I did some digging. I checked old family records, dug through some paperwork I probably shouldn't have had access to, and eventually found something that shattered my entire world. My real dad died before I was even born. The man I call my father isn't actually related to me. And the worst part? My mom never told me. They covered it up. Lied to me for my entire life. And judging by the texts, they were desperate to keep it hidden. But why? Why go through so much effort to keep this secret? And who the hell was texting my dad about it? I feel like I don't even know who I am anymore. I haven't confronted them yet, but I have no idea how to. Do I just walk in and say, "Hey, I know everything"? Or do I wait and see if more comes out? I don't know what to do. I just know one thing: my family isn't what I thought it was. We'll update if I find out more. So, I did it. I confronted them. And it went so much worse than I ever could have imagined. I don't even know where to start because my mind is still reeling from everything that just happened. But let me back up. After finding out that my real dad had died before I was born, I spent hours trying to piece things together. Old documents, family photos, birth certificates, anything that would explain why the people who raised me would lie to my face for my entire life. But nothing made sense. There was no mention of him anywhere. It was like he had been erased. I couldn't take it anymore. So last night, I went over to my parents' house. When I walked in, my mom was setting the table, my dad was pouring himself a drink, and everything looked so normal. It made me sick. They acted like nothing was wrong, like they hadn't spent decades lying to me. I stood in the middle of the kitchen and just said it. Who the hell is my real father? Silence. My mom turned pale. My dad didn't even look at me. The air got so thick it felt like I was choking on it. Finally, my mom whispered, "Where did you hear that?" That was all I needed to confirm everything. But I wasn't backing down. I told them I knew. That I had seen the texts. That I had found the records. That they had spent years covering up the truth, and I wanted to know why. And do you know what my mom did? She cried. Like she was the victim. My dad, no, my stepdad, because I refused to call him anything else, just stared at me, like he was waiting for me to calm down. Like I was just overreacting. Then he finally spoke. And what he said will haunt me forever. It doesn't change anything. I raised you. I'm your father. I almost laughed. Didn't change anything? Was he serious? My entire life had been a goddamn lie, and they expected me to just accept it? I looked at my mom, waiting for her to say something. To defend me. To apologize. But all she said was, "We were going to tell you when you were ready." When I was ready. I'm a grown adult. When exactly did they think I would be ready to learn that my entire existence was built on deception? And then it hit me. They never planned on telling me. If I hadn't found out, they would have taken this secret to the grave. And that's when the anger took over. I told them that they didn't get to decide what I was ready for. That I wasn't some stupid kid they could manipulate anymore. That they had no right to take away my choice to know the truth about myself. And do you know what my mom said? We did it to protect you. Protect me from what? The truth? My own history? My real father? I asked them, flat out, what happened to him? More silence. My mom wouldn't look at me. My stepdad clenched his jaw so tight I thought his teeth would crack. And that's when I realized something even worse. It wasn't just about hiding my real father. There was something else. Something bigger. Something darker. I told them I wasn't leaving until they gave me answers. My stepdad slammed his glass down on the counter and said, "You need to drop this." And my mom, my own mother, just nodded. Like I was the one being unreasonable. That was when I knew. I wasn't going to get the truth from them. And worse, I wasn't even sure if they ever really loved me at all. Because love isn't supposed to feel like this. I left without another word. But I'm not letting this go. If they won't tell me the truth, I'll find it myself. And I don't care what it costs. I don't recognize my home anymore. It used to feel warm, safe, mine. But now, it's just walls filled with ghosts. Every framed photo, every childhood memory, every time I hear my parents' voices, it's like they belong to someone else's life. Since the confrontation, things have been off. My mom has been texting me like nothing happened, asking if I'm coming over for dinner, acting like we didn't just rip the bandage off decades of deception. My stepdad. He's gone radio silent. No calls. No texts. Nothing. Honestly, I prefer it that way. But I made the mistake of going over last night. I don't even know why. Maybe some desperate, pathetic part of me hoped that if I just stepped back inside, things would feel normal again. Spoiler alert, they didn't. The moment I walked in, it was like I stepped into an alternate reality where everyone was pretending everything was fine. My mom smiled too much, laughed too hard, tried too hard. My stepdad just sat there, barely looking at me, swirling his drink in his hand like I was some stranger intruding on his evening. But the worst part? I saw it. Guilt. Not just in their eyes, but in the way they spoke, the way they moved, the way my mom's hand shook slightly when she passed me a plate like I might throw it back in her face. They know I'm digging. They know I won't stop. And they're scared. At one point, I excused myself and walked through the house. It felt wrong. Like I didn't belong there anymore. Every corner held memories that now felt tainted. Then I noticed something strange. Some of the old family photos were missing. Ones with me in them. There used to be a framed picture of me as a baby in the living room. Gone. Another one of me with my dad at my high school graduation? Also gone. Instead, there were random decorations, like they had covered up the past with meaningless things. I don't know if it was paranoia or just the weight of it all, but for the first time, I felt like I was never supposed to find out the truth. Like maybe, just maybe, this house wasn't just built on love and family. Maybe it was built on secrets and ghosts. And I wasn't leaving until I uncovered every single one of them. If I thought this was just between me and my parents, I was so wrong. Apparently, my mother decided to do some damage control. She's been making calls, weaving her little version of the story, and now? The whole family knows. The worst part? Not everyone is on my side. I found out from my cousin. She called me yesterday, voice hushed, like she didn't even want to be caught talking to me. She said she heard my mom talking to my aunt, and the way she spun it? She made it sound like I was the problem. Like I was the ungrateful child stirring up trouble, trying to rewrite history and ruin my father's memory. I almost threw my phone across the room. My father's memory? Are you serious? The man I spent my whole life calling dad isn't even my father. And now I'm the villain for wanting the truth? It's insane. And the rest of the family? They're splitting down the middle. Some of them are furious at my parents for lying to me. My aunt, the only one who's been honest with me, told me she never agreed with them keeping it a secret. That she wanted to tell me years ago, but my mom shut her down. Others, though? They think I'm being dramatic. That it doesn't matter because my stepdad raised me and that should be enough. You know what? It's not enough. Because love built on lies isn't love. And then there's my brother. He called me last night. I thought, finally, someone who would understand. Someone who would be as angry as I am. But instead, he said the words that shattered me all over again. Just let it go. I wanted to scream. He doesn't get it. He's their biological son. He was never lied to, never had his history rewritten, never had his very identity stolen from him. Of course, it's easy for him to say let it go. But I can't. Because every time I look in the mirror now, I don't just see myself. I see a stranger. And until I know the truth, I don't think I'll ever recognize myself again. I thought the worst part of betrayal was discovering the truth. I was wrong. The worst part is what comes after. When the dust settles and you look around, realizing everything you thought was unshakable, family, love, trust, was nothing but a fragile illusion. The truth has spread like wildfire, and the damage is irreversible. My relationship with my mother? Gone. She stopped trying to call. Stopped sending texts pretending everything is okay. I guess she finally realized that no matter how much she tries to rewrite history, I won't play along. My stepdad, God, I don't even know what to call him anymore, he's unraveling. He never had to face the consequences before. He got to lie, to manipulate, to control the narrative. But now? The mask is slipping, and I see him for what he really is, a coward. I ran into my uncle at the grocery store the other day. He barely looked at me, just muttered a tight-lipped, "Hope you're doing okay," and walked away like I was some ticking bomb he didn't want to be near when I went off. And my brother? The one person I thought would stand with me? We haven't spoken since the fight. I should be angry. I should be screaming, throwing things, demanding answers. But the truth? I just feel empty. It's the kind of emptiness that sits in your bones, making every breath feel heavier than the last. I lie awake at night staring at the ceiling, wondering if I ever really knew my family, or if I just loved the version of them they wanted me to see. The version that never existed. They say the truth sets you free. Then why do I feel like I've lost everything? Update. I never planned on revenge. But sometimes, karma does the work for you. It started small. A whisper here. A side-eye there. The kind of thing you notice when people start questioning everything they thought they knew. Because it turns out, people talk. And once one secret slips, the rest aren't far behind. My mother is unraveling. Word got around that she lied, not just to me, but to the whole damn family. The same people she called for sympathy are starting to question what else she's kept hidden. Her perfect, put-together image? Cracked. Then there's my stepdad. Turns out, his little secret wasn't so little. Because I'm not the only one asking questions now. Someone else, someone with more power than me, started digging. And let's just say, the past has teeth. I overheard a conversation between my aunt and my mom. My aunt, who was always the quiet one, the peacekeeper, was furious. "You didn't just lie," she said. "You built a whole life on it." And my mother? She had nothing to say. But the best part? My brother, the one who told me to let it go. He's finally feeling the heat. Because when people started turning on my parents, they looked at him next. What did he know? Was he just another victim of their lies, or was he part of it? And now? He's drowning too. I should feel guilty. I don't. Because watching them scramble, watching their perfect little world fall apart just like they shattered mine? That feels a lot like justice. I used to think family was forever. That no matter how bad things got, there was always a way back. I don't believe that anymore. Some wounds never heal. Some betrayals cut so deep that even time won't stitch them back together. And some people, they never change. My mother tried to reach out last week. A weak apology, wrapped in excuses. I never meant to hurt you. I was only trying to protect you. I let the call go to voicemail. I didn't need to hear it. I already knew how it would go. My brother texted me too, just a simple, "You okay?" Like he didn't stand by and watch everything fall apart. Like he didn't choose them over me. I left him on read. Because I'm done waiting for people to love me the way I deserve. So, I packed my bags. Not just for a break, not for some dramatic escape, for good. The house I grew up in? The one that used to feel like home? It's just a building now. A place filled with memories I don't want to carry anymore. I don't know where I'm going yet. Maybe a new city, a new state. Maybe I'll start over somewhere no one knows my name. All I know is, I'm leaving the past behind. Some families can't be saved. And I finally made peace with that. Hit that subscribe button to support my channel so I can bring you more stories.